What punctuation ends an interrogative sentence? Question mark. What is the opposite of a synonym? Antonym. What is the plural of cactus? Cacti. What is a 14-line poem called? Sonnet. What figure of speech compares using like or as? Simile. What is a word formed from the initial letters of a phrase called? Acronym. What is the primary language spoken in Brazil? Portuguese. What punctuation mark indicates possession or omission of letters? Apostrophe. What genre combines science and imaginative future concepts? Science fiction. What is a word that phonetically imitates a sound, as in buzz? Onomatopoeia. Who is the author of The Hobbit and The Lord of the Rings? J.R.R. Tolkien. Who wrote To Kill a Mockingbird? Harper Lee. In Shakespeare's plays, who is the Prince of Denmark? Hamlet. Which novel begins with Call Me Ishmael? Moby Dick. What American poet penned The Road Not Taken? Robert Frost. What term describes a word that sounds the same as another but has a different meaning? Homophone. Who created the detective Sherlock Holmes? Arthur Conan Doyle. What is the most translated book after the Bible? The Little Prince. Which Greek epic details Odysseus's journey home? The Odyssey. In grammar, what is a word that modifies a verb, adjective, or another adverb? Adverb. Who wrote the dystopian novel 1984? George Orwell. What literary device gives human traits to non-human things? Personification. Who is the author of the Hunger Games trilogy? Suzanne Collins. What term describes a play on words for humorous effect? Pun. Which Bronte sister wrote Jane Eyre? Charlotte Bronte. Who wrote the poem "O Captain, My Captain"? Walt Whitman. What is the collective noun for a group of crows? Murder. Which novel features the character Atticus Finch? To Kill a Mockingbird. What is the study of word origins called? Etymology. Who penned Pride and Prejudice? Jane Austen. Which Dr. Seuss book features a persistent feline visitor? The Cat in the Hat. Who wrote the play The Crucible? Arthur Miller. What is the Latin phrase meaning "seize the day"? Carpe diem. Which dystopian novel centers on a televised annual fight to the death? The Hunger Games. What is an indirect reference to another work called? Allusion. Who is the tragic hero of Romeo and Juliet alongside Juliet? Romeo. What narrative perspective uses he and she but reveals only one character's thoughts? Third person limited. Who is the author of The Great Gatsby? F. Scott Fitzgerald. What is the term for an exaggerated statement not meant to be taken literally? Hyperbole. Which American playwright wrote Death of a Salesman? Arthur Miller. What is the longest English word that doesn't repeat a letter? Subdermatoglyphic. Who penned Percy Jackson and the Olympians? Rick Riordan. What does the acronym SAT originally stand for? Scholastic Aptitude Test. Which novel's setting is the fictional town of Maycomb, Alabama? To Kill a Mockingbird. Who wrote The Catcher in the Rye? J.D. Salinger. Who is the wizard headmaster in the Harry Potter series? Albus Dumbledore. What tense is the sentence, "She will have finished by noon"? Future perfect. Which poet wrote, "Because I could not stop for death"? Emily Dickinson. What literary term describes a warning or hint of a future event in a story? Foreshadowing. What is the literary term for a struggle between opposing forces? Conflict.